Listen, if Carmelo Anthony picks the Miami Heat, then everything Chris has been saying about Melo is totally true. If Melo picks the Miami Heat, he will be deciding it is more important for me to play on my terms than to evolve at this late stage of my career and give myself the best chance to do the only thing I haven't done in basketball. Not in the NBA, the only thing in basketball. This guy won championship at Oak Hill. He won a championship, one and done at Syracuse, Olympic gold medalist, first ballot Hall of Famer. He's been a scoring champion. He's been All-NBA, 10-time All. The only thing he hasn't done is play in an NBA Finals and potentially win an NBA Finals. If he chooses the Miami Heat, he's saying, playing the way I want to play is what's most important to me. If he chooses the Rockets, or you could argue the Lakers, even though I think they are probably the least likely of those three teams, then it would say to me, Carmelo is reprioritizing, and Carmelo is open to making major adjustments that he didn't want to make not only last year, but the last time he played for Mike D'Antoni in New York when that went terribly sour. So I think this will, now maybe it'll turn out he tries to have his cake and eat it too. I'm going to pick the good team and try to not change anything. That would surprise me. So I think whichever team he chooses will give us a window in to what his priorities are.
Well, Jenna, you're not going to be surprised about this because even if he selects the other two teams, I'm going to be right. Yeah, I'm not going to be wrong if he decides to go to the best team in Houston. I'm not going to be wrong if he decides to go play with LeBron because I got 15 years of video that speaks to what Melo is about. Melo is about getting buckets. You can't change your reputation at the end of your career on one decision. I think kind of the irony to it, and people aren't talking about this, for the minimum. I mean, he's getting totally brought out of his contract in OKC, but there's only three teams that they're talking about. Those are the three teams his buddies are on. In Miami with Dwayne Wade. Dwayne Wade's probably say, that's my buddy and everything. In Houston with Chris Paul. In the third team, Los Angeles with LeBron. Don't people think that that's just kind of strange for a guy to score as many points like that, that there's only three teams out there, and those are the teams where his buddies are on those teams?
Well, I think people would think it's more strange if two of those teams weren't two teams that we thought were potential championship contenders. He's not joining the Warriors. We know that, right? So the next best contender is the Rockets, where his buddy is. Then there's the team with LeBron, which we think is probably going to get Kawhi, but is always at least a pseudo-contender as long as LeBron's there. I'd feel similarly if his buddies were with the Clippers, the Magic, and the Heat, and those were the only teams looking at him.
I think there should be, with Melo, when we look at the other veteran players that are hired guns, guys coming in just to be spot-up shooters, they have more options than this. So for me, I'm a little surprised that the rest of the NBA, well, I shouldn't be surprised, because I believe Melo is limited as a player. And to think someone can play away for 15 years and then just all of a sudden just walk in the door and change, there's a reason why him and D'Antonio struggled in New York. Now, they might say, oh, those were different circumstances. Let me tell you something. When a guy is trying to tell you what to do and you decide I'm not going to do that, so I don't love the fact that Houston just decided to try to play some defense. They lose two defensive players, wing players, and now they're going to bring in Melo and think Melo's going to play defense. I think that people are they're really not speaking the truth as far as who Melo is. I got 15 years of video that would say that he's going to react a certain way.
Right, and so the reason I said that if he goes to Miami, I didn't say if he goes somewhere else, you will definitively be wrong. I said if he goes to Miami, you will definitively be right. The point that I'm making is...
I'm already right.
No, well, hold on.
Even if Melo wins a championship.
Wait a second, see.
As a supporting player.
There is no way to know. No one can be right or wrong about something that has not yet happened. The point is, the question is, will he adjust? Will he change who he is as a basketball player in year 16? If he goes to Miami, that will say to me, he don't want to change nothing. If he goes to Houston, I would think it says he's open to changing. Now, it doesn't mean he will have. We will have to wait and see how the games are played. What I think was tough for Melo, and what I think people have forgotten because of how the year in OKC went, was his last year in New York. This guy was 97 percentile catch and shoot threes. This guy was the second best mid-range isolation scorer in basketball. So he went to OKC thinking, why would I change anything? I'm still a 20-point-a-game guy. I'm still elite at the things I've always done. He's no longer that guy. That's why I think that there is more of an opportunity for him to change than there was last year.
I feel like we just had this conversation about Dwight Howard. Here's a guy who's been one way his whole career. I know you're talking basketball skill and personality or presence, but now all of a sudden in year 15, you feel like you're going to change your colors as to who you were. But where do you think Melo should go then to play?
I think he should go to Houston, especially with them not having the wing players, the spot catching ability to be able to shoot. Every once in a while be able to isolate because, the coach doesn't like isolation, but Harden does isolate, and they do utilize it. So I believe his talent is better served there, and they really have championship aspirations. But back to what you're saying as far as Dwight, he's a version of a Dwight Howard. It's like Jenna, some person, they've been eating any type of food that they want to for 20 years. Then now all of a sudden they get into their 40s, and you know something? I'm going to start being conscious of my body. Well, let me tell you something. You have lost the advantage that people like Jenna and myself realized a long time ago, that if you decide to, I'm going to watch what I eat while I'm younger, then you might be able to salvage your body. You can't get back all those years. Read articles about Carmelo Anthony. He was in Men's Health magazine in the middle of his career talking about, hey, what do you eat? He talked about McDonald's and things like that. All of a sudden, you can't just think that, I'm going to try to eat right, and now I'm going to get back that athleticism. Once it's gone, it is gone.
I love the example you just used, that people, if they live a certain way, if they're smokers or they eat unhealthy, they tend to continue on that trajectory. Sometimes, though, if someone changes, you know why they do? Because they have a heart attack. Because they have a major life event that makes them say, I have to change.
He didn't have one.
That's where we disagree. This is the most embarrassing moment of Carmelo Anthony's basketball career, without question. Someone paying you to go away it
might be embarrassing to you, but there is no evidence that it's embarrassing to him. We're thinking. I tell you a great story. When I got cut from Buddy Ryan, that was the worst days of my life. I changed. And the reason why I know, because when I went to Minnesota, I started doing different things. So it wasn't just the moment. It was something in my brain told me, I'm not going to just give that to Melo. He don't deserve that. He needs to do it, and then I'll give him credit. Show me some signs where Melo is doing this. You get paid, you get bought out, $27 million, go home. That ain't no bad day.
I didn't say it was a bad day, but it can be an embarrassing day. And you might be right that I shouldn't sit here, and I don't think I have, and definitively say I know he will do this. But I don't think it's fair to say definitively you know he will not. Like, we don't know how...
Last year, he had a chance to change in OKC. Now, you might say, oh, man, as a scorer, his numbers, as a post-up, all those things, isolation. But when he went to OKC, they did ask him a question, and he couldn't do different things. He is not a good role player, so he just had the opportunity in OKC. And there's a reason, outside of the tax implication, there's a reason why they purchased his contract. There's a reason why he's waiving his no-trade clause now. There's a reason why. Because OKC didn't want to play basketball with him anymore. So now he's at the crossroads as far as what I'm going to do. The only three teams right now that have a great deal of interest are teams that he's got three buddies on.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from First Things First, or go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.